What approach should Canada take with the Biden administration?
That's a good question. I don't know if there's a easy solution. I think maybe kind of stand our ground and remind them that we are Canada and we're strong and we're here and we have important views.
I don't know. We should buy Canadian. I'm not an NDP and I never would be, but Jagmeet Singh had a good point when he said we should be buying Canadian steel. It's like, why don't we bring stuff back to Canada? You know, we don't need to depend on America. I think we have enough stuff going on here.
I'd say go carefully with Biden. We don't know him, but he's a lot better than Trump for sure. But yeah, there's a lot of deals I don't understand that are made for economic reasons, but be careful with that, I'd say. Yeah, we don't know much what's going to happen next, and it's not Obama, so.
We should just stay diplomatic and try to have a good relationship with them to pursue, of course, economic interests, but also some other things, maybe just helping each other out with poverty issues or the environment or making something together to stop pollution. I don't know.
I don't know. That's up to the Prime Minister. I should act in the national interests, try and build strong relationships. I mean, that's our strongest partners. So, and a very important partner. So, tread carefully.
I think we have a good relationship right now. I think we could maybe step it up a little, kind of show some muscle towards them, we are a strong country. I do believe that we do need to show some force towards them for sure.
Biden was Obama's vice president, but it's a different time. It's post-COVID. I think we might actually have to be a bit more aggressive and stand our ground a bit more, especially when it comes to border closures. You talk about softwood lumber, that's constantly in the news. I think we might need to take a bit of a more aggressive approach. Obviously one where we want to keep our partnership and keep that, that friendly camaraderie kind of thing, because we are so close to one another and we do deal with each other so often, whether it's trade, migration. But I think we might have to be a bit more aggressive.
Well, the first thing is don't assume that just because they're Democrats, they're in favor of Canada. They're very protectionist, so they are U.S. first, even more than Trump was. So I think we have to be really careful how we negotiate with them. They just introducing a new tax break on electric cars. Again, that's going to have an impact on us. So they're definitely our ally, but we can't assume that they're our friends. So we have to make sure we're there and protecting our own interests first.
I agree with that opinion. I think we learned a lot in the Trump administration in terms of trying to negotiate fairly for Canada and finding the best way to do it. I think it becomes more and more difficult as countries, rightly so, become more protectionist, including Canada in some instances. So it will take us a while to get back to where we can negotiate on more of a North American scale than an individual U.S.-Canadian scale.
I think we need to be heard and felt, and it shouldn't just be kind of two countries, one voice. So I do think that whoever our leader is, that we need to make sure that Canada's interests are heard, and it's not just kind of merged into this one Western view.
I think it's challenging because of the fracture between the political parties in the states. This is probably the biggest divide that there's been between Democrats and Republicans. And unfortunately, I see that spilling over into Canada a little bit, where I don't think that has really happened before. And as we were saying before, I think it's obviously a lot influenced by the media. It's that them versus us, that team mentality, which hasn't been before. And I think Donald Trump emphasized that. So I kind of repairing those relationships and being able to work together. And I mean, having the openness of taking the high road and not trying to hold grudges and just trying to work together as the two powers of North America, basically the biggest trade partners in the world. I mean, they need to be able to work together and function cohesively.
Well, I think what's happening right now, I haven't read that much about it, but this whole sort of whatever benefits they're giving to buying American-made cars, it speaks for itself, you know. So we've invested, from what I understand as Canadians, we've invested huge amounts in American companies that all the profits are taking back to the States. So let's protect our own. Like, I'm not saying protectionist, I'm just saying let's be reasonable about where we invest our money, and maybe we do need to create our own industry and everything else if that's the way we're going to be treated.
The previous few administrations have done so much collateral damage to our relationship that it's irreparable. We have to restart from the brand new.
So I think regardless of any situation, there's always room for hope. So I have to remain hopeful that from learning we can always look to do better. I think relationship building, I think, the view's always better from the high road. So we need to kind of look forward in how we can relationship build and how we can benefit all citizens, regardless of being Canadian or American. I think the media sometimes, when that's all that people have access to and they don't have a touchstone in the States, they generalize the population. But there's lots of very good people trying to do very good things in the United States as there is here. And so I believe that we can build those relationships.